Whether you eat to live or live to eat, here's one fact about food that you cannot deny. It affects the way you feel and the kind of energy that you tap into. There's no denying that there's a connection between the two. It's all about what food's doing to your mood with Roseanne Kamau from Treasure Fitness next. Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. My name is Sheila Mwanyega. I'm pretty thrilled you're on this channel. Please click subscribe and hit notifications. That way you never get to miss an episode when we upload. And we are living out loud at the Waterfront Karen. You've arrived. If you're looking to expand your business or maybe set up shop in a great space with great people and just great everything, don't look no further than the Waterfront Karen. And here to have a conversation with me about food and mood, because really there is a connection between the two, is Roseanne Kamau from Treasure Fitness. Karibu.
Thank you, Sheila, so much for having me. It's such a pleasure just being here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your fitness journey, because it's quite epic.
After we got married, we got pregnant and I had our first baby. And it was normal. Obviously, you gain some weight after having a baby. So I went to see my doctor. And when I went to see my doctor, he said, Roseanne, we need to talk. I'm concerned because you're young. I was in my 20s and your cholesterol numbers are high. This for me was just a typical routine checkup. But the minute the doctor said my cholesterol was high, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, I am going to die. I have a new baby. Who's going to raise my baby? I'm going to leave my husband. We're newly married. Like, what's going to happen? Yeah. So the shock was real and I was completely scared and nervous. So the doctor said, I want to see you back in 3 months. And in 3 months, I want to see your weight down and your numbers down. Those are the only two things that he gave me. Didn't give me a number, didn't give me anything. Then he gives me a trifold, 3-page paper. This is the information that you need. And so I'm thinking, Sheila, are you kidding me? In my head, it's like I have gotten a life-death sentence. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary. Mm-hmm. So I thought, and you're only giving me this? Like, this is all the information I need? For me, that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I went and I started doing my own research. What is it that I needed to do? How do I bring these numbers down? Because when I go back to see the doctor in 3 months, these numbers had to come down. And so that's where my journey started. So in 3 months, actually within that period, I started doing my research. What do I need to do? So the things that I was, it was by Google, google.com.
Yeah, we Google everything.
Don't we, right?
Yes, we do.
So Mr. Google tells me, you got to reduce hydrogenated oils. So I'm in corporate, by the way, this time. I'm doing something completely different. So I'm thinking, hydrogenated oils, what is that? I mean, I was completely unaware of what that meant. Then it says, you got to eat more foods with fiber. So for me, with every detail that I got, what I did was, okay, I needed to break it down further. So hydrogenated oils. So it told me what those oils were. Then I would look in my fridge or think, okay, do I have those oils? Sure enough, I had all the hydrogenated oils, the foods and whatnot, which we're going to be talking about as we move along, right?
Sure.
Then it talks about you got to add more fiber. So it talks about you got to eat more oatmeal, you got to eat more vegetables, you've got to eat more legumes. So I was thinking, oh, okay, so those are the things I need to do. So right now, I'm basically beginning to piece information and I can see what I'm doing and what it is that I'm not doing. So I changed my diet. That was the first thing that I did. But I also hired a coach, someone to really help me now lose the weight. I go back to see my doctor after 3 months, and sure enough, my numbers have come down. And that was the first time like a light bulb went off. How do these numbers go down so quickly in 3 months? Mm-hmm. And so now I go to the library. Now I get books, encyclopedias, really trying to understand what's cholesterol, what's heart disease, like all that stuff I really needed to understand. But over time, I lost weight. My numbers came down and have stayed down since that first diagnosis. I went back to school. I became recertified, and now my job is to coach people. I certified in nutrition and fitness because I now wanted people to experience a healthy, vibrant life.
And here's the thing, I'm listening to you speak and I can't help but identify a lot with what you're saying.
Yeah.
When a doctor tells you, you know, your numbers are not looking good, because it happened to me too, a couple of years ago. And doctors, they know your family history, and he says to you, there's diabetes in your family and there's hypertension. Yes. So you can get a 2-for-1 special if you keep going. You know, if you keep going the way you're going, by the end of the year you could have one, or you could even have both. But just keep, you know, and even get a few more.
Absolutely.
But I can't help but imagine that you walked away from corporate. I mean, what you found in health and nutrition was big enough to say to you, Roseanne, this is not where you belong.
Yes.
Go help other people get it right.
Absolutely, Sheila. And okay, I thought I was educated. That's what I'm thinking,
No,
right?
we are. We go to school and we've got degrees.
So
and
you're thinking,
da-da-da.
I mean,
But
it's just food. How would that
Yes.
affect me? But clearly, it was affecting me. And I thought, if I in my 20s have been affected, I'm thinking I'm educated, how many other people out there are in a similar situation?
Yeah.
But not just that. How many people, we just live and we just eat without recognizing the things that either we've picked up from our parents, from our friends, from advertisement. We just do things blindly without necessarily knowing they're actually affecting us on the inside. And by the time we get to realize, a lot of us, it tends to be a little bit either too late,
Yeah.
or by the time we've caught it, it's really gone on too far.
Exactly.
You know? So that's
Exactly.
why I took it upon myself, Sheila, to really now become educated and help other people. Because once we understand nutrition, once we understand lifestyle, once you understand fitness and movement, you can be able to live and focus your life well because you're healthy. You're not worried about my health.
Yeah.
Because I truly do believe, Sheila, your health is your wealth.
That's true.
You've heard that, right?
I
Your
agree with it
health-
100%.
Absolutely. Because I've always said, what's the point of living life up until your 60s? So your kids have grown, you've worked well, you've grown, you've amassed all the wealth in the world. But then the latter part of your life, you're using that
It's
wealth.
pain and pain management and doctors and tests.
Yes.
You don't want that.
You don't want that.
And here's the thing.
Yes.
It's every small little thing that you do consistently every day
Exactly.
that pays off either positively or
negatively.
So
Absolutely.
the sooner you start making your changes, even if it's one small thing
Yes.
today,
Yes.
the sooner you'll start seeing the results, but most importantly, the longer you get to enjoy the benefits.
Exactly. And you know what I also say? Because a lot of people will be like, you know, people die of heart attacks at any time. And it's true. But you know what? I would rather live in a cautious lifestyle. I would rather do everything I know that needs to be done. And I'll know at the end of my life, I did everything that I could. The rest, I left it up to God, the universe, whatever it is you want to call. I
Right.
left it up to God. But I know I took everything in my power to work hard, to take care of my body, my family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you do your part. Let everything else fall. Let the chips fall where they may, but you've at least taken your part. But don't take that ignorant approach of, you know what, people will die anyway.
No.
It's true, we will all die.
We will all die,
but
it's,
let's be
it's how it will happen and the quality of your life before it happens.
Absolutely. One of the things I realized was food has a huge impact on how I felt. And if it had a huge impact on how I felt, clearly it surely has an impact on how everybody feels. And sure enough, the science backs that up. First thing, sugars, hydrogenated oils, soft drinks, processed foods, all that stuff, what it does is it depletes off your body the vital nutrients. When your body is not getting the nutrients that it needs, you're eating your sugars, you're eating your fried foods, you're eating processed foods, foods that come from a box, foods that are man-made, they're not naturally made. What happens is you really inflame your body. So your body goes into inflammation mode. It means either your joints begin to hurt, you might not even realize that because it's the foods that you're eating, your joints are hurting, you gain extra weight, which means you're going to put a lot more pressure, yes, on your joints. Number 3, we have what we call our second brain. Science has figured this out. It's called the second brain and it's the gut. Do you have gut feelings? I have a gut feeling. I have a gut feeling. So the new science is showing us a lot of that gut feeling is actually in our gut, in our GI tract. That's your gut feeling. So do you know what that tells us? If your gut's not treated right, if your gut's not treated well, you're going to completely expose all the good bacteria. It all goes away and then the bad bacteria begins to grow and thrive. And that's where diseases are starting from, in our gut. So one of the things that we talk about is our brain. And when you're feeling good, when you're looking to get excitement, the brain releases serotonin. At least that's what we thought. But now science is showing the serotonin is actually coming from our gut. And so now we then therefore come back to foods. And this is now where it gets so exciting for me. Because I always say, Sheila, if the foods, therefore, are going to affect our gut, and our gut is where a lot of our diseases are starting from, and our gut is really promoting like the serotonin, the brain.
And good decisions and a sound way of living.
Exactly.
Then you take care of it.
Then why not take care of it? So it really boils down to how you take care of your body, and the biggest part of it is nutrition. So we're going to completely eliminate, first thing, I want you to remove your sugars from your diet because they're not helping you. They're making you inflamed. They're depleting your cells off of the vital nutrients. That's number one. Sugar is a killer. And I am a huge proponent in that. And I will speak because God has given me the platform, and I thank you for this, to tell people sugar is a killer.
And we don't just mean, you know, the crazy sugar that's been
Thank you for
it's far bigger than that.
It is so much bigger than that. And thanks for bringing that point up, because a lot of people just think it's the table sugar.
Yeah.
But no, when you think about our yogurts, they're flavored yogurts.
Yeah.
What have they been flavored with?
Sugar.
It's sugar. That little tiny container, you're thinking it's tiny, it's for me. That tiny little thing has between 4 and 6 teaspoons of sugar, depending on the brand, right? Soft drinks, they have sugar. Juices have sugar. You know what also? Even the juices that we squeeze, you know how you go and you ask for, let's say, an orange juice? To get a tiny glass of orange juice, you might have to squeeze between 4 to 5 or 6 oranges, depending on how big your oranges are. Do you know how much sugar is in that tiny orange juice? It has between 6 to 10 teaspoons of sugar.
So it is real orange juice, but it's got a lot of sugar.
It has a lot of
there.
sugar, but what I do recommend, instead of having that orange juice, I would rather you have a whole orange, because the orange has fiber in it, and that fiber is going to slow down the release of sugar in your bloodstream. Number 2, we want to eliminate processed foods. We're talking about mood and food. So what do these foods do? With your processed foods, again, they are used with man-made ingredients. If you look at the back of the ingredient box, if you cannot pronounce a word or you do not understand the meaning of the word, that does not belong in our bodies.
It doesn't belong inside you.
It does not belong inside us, because what food manufacturers have done, unfortunately, is they've understood the psychology of man, what we love. Sugar is sweet. I'm not gonna lie. Sugar is sweet, salt is sweet, crunchy. When you combine all that, it tastes good.
Yes.
So what happens? That part of your brain gets very excited because your dopamine has been elicited. So dopamine is the happy part of your brain. Now, what happens is you're eating those foods, the processed foods that we're talking about, which scientists add stuff in them, the sugars. They are scientists who sit in a lab, and their job is to find the happiest part of humans that gets them super excited, and they add that so that we get addicted to them. And that for me is what upsets me.
It makes you happy, so you eat more of it, so it makes you happy, so you eat more of it, so it makes you happy,
right?
so you eat more of it, and the cycle continues.
The cycle continues now. And then remember, those foods are very high in calories and very low in nutrients. So what happens is 2 things. Number 1, you begin to gain a lot of weight. And number 2, the dopamine part of your brain, so it's what we call a neurotransmitter, a new neural pathway is created in your brain, which wants and it wants and it wants. So people actually become addicted to this stuff. And for me, it's upsetting because someone can see, I really want to get rid of this stuff. But that's not where, for me, my
and then
answer comes.
I can't give this up. I mean, I've been there before where you know you have to make a switch and you have to stop eating certain things, but you drive past this store or you see it, you smell it, you see it, you smell it, and you just
before you know it,
you're just not thinking straight, and you can't explain why.
And that is very powerful. There's what now I call see and act. I need you, and I love that you've already said that, because it's so important for you to begin to recognize the habits that take you to that place. When you see, when you smell, and then generally we begin to act. So what we want to do is, the minute you recognize that, your brain has what we call the emotional and the rational part. So at that point, the emotional part is calling, because it's like, I want to go there, I want to go eat. Yes, give me. Feed me, Sheila. I need it now. If I don't have it now, you know. But at that point, we need your rational brain to go, because your rational brain also knows
this is not good for you.
It's not good for me. It doesn't work. So this is when we begin to apply strategies. What do I put in so that the minute I drive, maybe this is the route that I use all the time. I am going to the waterfront. I'm driving down, and there's that particular store that I know if I go there, I'll make the wrong choices. So when you make that connection, I say, Sheila, instead of using that road, let's use another one. And do that over and over and over, because you know what you're doing? You're creating a new neural pathway in your brain, and a new habit is formed.
Exactly.
You know?
And here's the thing, it's about creating new pathways. Because getting rid of pathways is really difficult work. So it's much easier to create a new pathway than to destroy an old one.
They actually they don't get destroyed, unfortunately.
They still stay there. And that's why sometimes you'll just have little moments of I think it would be nice if I tasted this
just
today,
a little bit.
Yeah,
And it never is a little bit, is
and
it?
it's never.
It never is.
Next thing you know, it's in your hair.
It's
everywhere. You
everywhere.
look
Right.
like a
For me with
vampire
chapos,
that's
Sheila,
fat.
you can't give me one.
No, about 2 or 3.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
even
like
4,
that.
man.
We've got a full collection of food that's rated all good. Find out more about them in part 2 of this episode.